Hi everyone, how you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and this is an off-the-cuff rant that I've been wanting to make now for probably the last, 16 hours. I've been ruminating over it, thinking about how I want to talk about it, what the implications are, and why it's overall a bad thing. If you pay attention to the online movie pundit space, what you saw last night was a bunch of grown-ass men becoming instant cancel culture Karens because they didn't like what Robert Meyer Burnett had to say about the looting in St. Louis, where former retired police chief, 77-year-old David Dorn, was shot and killed while trying to protect his friend's pawn shop. Robert took that extremely personally, and he made some very bold claims on Twitter. Not to say that I agree with the words he used, because they were not the best formatted, but the sentiment and intent and heart behind it, I think, was in ultimately the right place. He basically said, shoot to kill, and he was referring to defending private property. And that is something that right now, given the context of the last week, has come up a lot in conversation. David Dorn just was the straw that broke the camel's back in regards to watching a man, and there's video of this, of the man dying on a sidewalk after being gunned down by trying to protect his friend's pawn shop, trying to do the right thing, trying to protect and serve, which is what he had sworn to do. And he was gunned down mercilessly in the line of duty. And there's no other way to look at that situation, by the way. You can feel whatever you want to feel about authority figures, but this is a retired police chief trying to do the right thing who was gunned down. And that should make everybody mad. Everybody's already mad, but this should also add to that fuel and also help push towards trying to find a solution to the problem, of which is a systemic one and will require a lot of time and effort to fix, and a lot of time and effort to get right. And it's going to be bumpy, and it's not going to be easy, and you're not going to get it tomorrow or the day after that or the day after that. But if you work at it, it can come. That's my personal take on it. Reform can happen, justice can happen, but it is never swift. It is never instant. And when you seek instant gratification and instant justice in these situations, you are quite frankly no better than the people that are out there committing the atrocities. Doesn't matter what side of the law that they are on. And that's what brings me to this whole situation involving people trying to cancel Robert. Because they did. He was the manager for the Schmoedown. He's been fired. Kristian Harloff came out. Brave Kristian Harloff came out and announced that they don't agree with his views and they're going to be replacing him. And of course, everyone involved with the Schmoedown absolutely just started stabbing him. You know, I don't want to put a reference to like Caesar, but it felt like that, you know, like which one was Brutus at the end of the day is probably Harloff. Et tu, Brutus? Et tu? Now, not to say Robert can't defend himself, not to say Robert isn't responsible for his own words, yes, but I think we also need to look at the overall aspect of the situation and the fact that this was not something that took place over time. You know, cooler heads were not allowed to prevail. And when pushed, Robert did push back, as I feel he has every right to do. People were trying to miscategorize and mischaracterize what he was saying. The cancel culture Karens all came running out of the woodworks. Not even a problem. Had no issue with it. Had no issue. Had no even question about trying to cancel this person. Did everything they could right off the bat to smear his good name. To smear him. These are his friends. These are his colleagues. These are people that he works with. No problem. No problem. Just throwing him under a bus. Just driving that virtue signaling bus right over his body. No problem. No issue with that. Now, I take that stuff a little bit personally because it's happened to me. I had an issue about 2 years ago where I was being harassed pretty heavily. I reported some videos for harassment. It came out very publicly. A lot of information was misstrued. A lot of information was outright fabricated. But I had a lot of friends of mine that I knew in real life, that I knew through YouTube, that threw me under a bus because it protected their business. And at the end of the day, that's what this boils down to. At the end of the day, Kristian Harloff is only firing Robert because he wants to protect his business. I hate to break it to you, Kristian. The Schmoedown sucks. You're not that entertaining. You're not that interesting. You've turned into a B-level John Campea clone. You know what? And these are people too, by the way. I'm pretty sure Robert would probably defend you over that whole Star Wars blow-up from last year. Well, I've been a fan for 5 effing years, and I'm not going to get invited to Galaxy's Edge. Mr. Entitled himself. Oh, but you didn't want people making fun of you over that. But you have no problem canceling an employee, canceling a friend, because he got heated over the death of an innocent, which put us in this whole situation to begin with. Yes, the wording he used, and when there was pushback, he doubled down, but he was angry. You fired him out of fear. You fired him out of cowardice. You fired him because you're a pussy. A friend like John Campea, and I'm going to actually really stand up for Campea here. Campea came out, he issued a statement. Robert is taking time off the show because that's, what you do, apparently. And that's it. Robert put out an apology. It was a good apology. It was a sincere apology. But even that was mocked. Even that was heavily mocked within this movie pundit Karen circle. My favorite, and I don't give a crap if he unfollows me after this, but Skylar Schuler from the Diss Insider, he loves to throw that shade. He loves to throw people under the bus like that. That's how I first caught wind of this whole thing last night. He was happily, gleefully sharing this around, and he likes to do this. Anyone in the movie space that, that he deems to be bad, he's got no problem trying to figure out any way he can to cancel him. But yet last week, his buddy Daniel RPK attempted to blackmail me, literally blackmail me over criticism. And he was like, not a big deal. This is the hypocrisy that I'm talking about when it comes to these people. They live in an echo chamber. They live in a bubble. They live in that space, and they're so desperately afraid of actually having an opinion. They're desperately afraid of standing up for those who they care about or who they know, because they're afraid of how it's going to impact their bottom line. Now, yes, Robert made a mistake in saying what he said, how he said it. His anger made him say wrong words, but his intent was not. And I looked at what he had to say, and I looked at what he said in his apology, and I followed him for a while. And during this entire last week, he has been nothing but supportive of everything going on. Which is why I even thought that was a bit out of character that tweet came from him. But then when I saw the absolute context, when I looked into the context, I realized where it was coming from. And like a mature, rational adult, I understood what he was saying. And since we're in this space right now of listening to people, supposedly listening to people, wouldn't it be right to at least attempt to understand context before acting? But no, these cowards, these hypocrites, these pussies, this is what they do. I have no problem if they like me or don't like me. I never plan on working with them. But I will say this, I will give credit to people who I despise. And that's the Fandom Menace. Those people who, you guys who know me know I do not like them. Fundamentally do not like them. But they came out and they defended Robert. They came out and defended him. They didn't have to. They didn't have to, but they know what it is like to be smeared for things. That is true. I will give them that. Not everything they say is, as bad as some people make it out to be, but there is that. But they came out, they defended him. Campea defended him. It's frustrating to watch, guys. It's frustrating to watch people call for civility and call for understanding and call for conversation and call for all of these things. And then to watch them just flip in a moment's notice. I just, yeah. I'm perfectly content in my own little area of Washington talking about what's going on with movies, because at least then, I'm doing my own thing. I know networking is how you get ahead in this industry. I know networking is how you build and how you grow. And in LA, yeah, you have to do it. I don't agree with what happened last night to Robert. I'm not happy about what happened last night to Robert. I don't think he deserved what happened to him last night. The man got heated. He said something. He made him, he admitted he was wrong in how he said it, explained himself, but that didn't matter. Once the mob comes for you and tries to cancel you, it's not hard to see who your real friends are. And like I said, I've been there. I had people straight up not talk to me for 6 months. Friends, actual friends, 6 months. And then they finally contacted me privately and told me that they didn't talk to me because they didn't want it to impact their business. That's what I saw last night. So yeah, it rubs me a bit of the wrong way. Friends can screw up and you can still have their back. Friends can make mistakes and you can still have their back. Clearly, they care more about their financial gain. They care more about their bottom line. They care more about that subscriber number, about that Patreon number. They care more about all of those things rather than besmirching the name of a person who has been good. That is what they care about. That is what you guys need to pay attention to. And that is why, fuck all of them. It's shameful. It's deceitful. It's cowardly. And that's exactly how I view them. All of them. Anyway. Robert will be fine. That much I know to be true. My anger comes from my own experiences and how I've been in these situations for mistakes that I have made. And I own up to those mistakes. But I've had people do the same thing to me. No questions asked. So I understand how Robert is feeling right now. I understand the pain he's going through, the loss he's experiencing, the question about his future. And I said, he'll be fine. But it goes to show you that when it comes to this particular space, when it comes to having these kind of friends, they're really not friends at all. Anyway, I look forward to your thoughts, your opinions. I'll talk to you guys about this later. Have yourself a great day. Thank you again for watching. Peace out.